Okay, okay. So meantime, I'll be introducing, sir.
Yeah, please
Good
go ahead.
morning. Welcome, respected resource person, Sir Raju sir, respected principal sir, and dear coordinators of NRI Institute of Technology, IIC and EDC, Institutions of Innovation Council, and Entrepreneur Development Cell, NRI. We are jointly organizing this lecture session. The session was sponsored by Minister of Education, MOE, and it is working under AICTE. And under this scheme, Impact Lecture Series, it has been started. And June 17th, we already conducted Lecture Series 1. And as part of Series 2, today it is planned. And there are two sessions. Morning session scheduled 10 to 11:30 a.m. and afternoon one more session. It is from 2 to 3:30 p.m. It is this lecture series. It is sponsored by IIC, Institutions of Innovation Council. It is under AICTE. So this occasion, I welcome you all for this lecture sessions. And today's our resource person, Mr. Y.S.R. Raju sir, and I request Dikshita to introduce our resource person.
Yes, sir, am I audible?
Yes, you are audible.
Okay. Very pleasant morning, everyone. This is Dikshita Kanala from third year ECEA of NRI Institute of Technology. It's a great pleasure to introduce our speaker today, Mr. Y.S.R. Rajiv Kumar, who is going to talk to us about entrepreneurial mindset and building viable product. He is a dynamic and motivational leader with more than 11 years of experience across different parts of the world in PNL, sales, strategy, operations, product, and project management. He has completed bachelor's and master's from IIT Madras with an incredible track record of building high-performance teams, products, and business and delivering results. He has been recently recognized as 40 under 40, India's young dynamic EV, that is electric vehicle leaders. He has been avalanching and crusading the electric vehicle adoption, representing EVs in various national and international platforms. He is currently nurturing and running EV cohorts in partnership with Government of Telangana to nurture talent and entrepreneurs in the field of electric vehicles industry. He is a mentor on board for several organizations, including T-Hub and MIghty, that is Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology, Digital India Scale-Up Program, TIE Global and Osmania Technology, and Business Incubator. This intent of this session is not only to dissemination of knowledge, theoretical and practical, but also to match the industry requirements. I sincerely hope this session will make your industry ready. And thank you. Happy learning.
Okay, thank you, Dikshita. Now, I request Mr. Y.S.R. Raju sir to deliver his valuable session. Sir, Raju sir. Raju sir, sir. I think Sar is now again disconnected from this. Vijay Krishna sir. Vijay Krishna sir. Vijay Krishna sir, hello. Hello, Vijay Krishna sir. Vijay Krishna sir. Sir.
Yeah. Our
Yeah.
Raju sir came. Sir, you can
Yes.
continue. Raju sir, are you able to hear me?
Can you hear me and can you see me, please?
No, sir, we're not able to see you.
Yeah, one
Yeah.
second.
No, yeah. Now we got it. Now we got it.
You're able to see me and you're able to hear me?
Yeah. No problem.
Yes, sir. Okay, nice, sir.
Okay, great, guys. First of all, I regret the delay caused and also the disturbance that had just happened. But nevertheless, we have 262 plus young brains with us, and let us see how best we can use all of them. Now, will they get an opportunity to respond either on chat or on mic, Vijay Krishna Garu?
Yeah. I'm adding mics for everybody, sir. No problem.
Yeah, you can also enable chat to all of them. At least let them interact via chat, please. Yeah,
Yes.
because
Yes,
we
sir,
will
I'm
keep
adding.
it more interactive. Okay.
Yeah.
So now the first question, guys. How many of you really want to be entrepreneurs? Raise your hands. How many of you want to be entrepreneurs? Raise your hands.
True.
Okay. Okay. All of you are raising hands. Why? Why do you want to be entrepreneur? Quickly put it on the chat box. You will have to enable chat, Vijay Krishna Garu, to everybody.
Permission, sir. No problem.
So why do you why do you want to become? Of course you want to become, but why? Why do you want to become? Yeah. Okay. Why do you want to become? How many of you here are here who wants to become an entrepreneur because you want to make a lot of money? Is anything wrong with making a lot of money? Chat, please. Chat window. Please bring on the chat window. Otherwise, it feels like as if I'm talking to a computer. Kindly enable chat to all the participants, please, in the settings, whoever is the moderator. Okay. Fine. Fine. Okay. So if now, which year are you in? Third year, second year, fourth year? Most of you. Okay, since the chat is not yet live, let me pause the questions for a while and then talk about certain interesting aspects. Okay, now the interesting aspects are these. Most of us think that entrepreneurship is not for me, it is for somebody else. There are people who have already done it, and I'm here to kind of study well, get a good job, and lead life, right? Which is all right, which is definitely not a bad idea. But then what is a wrong conception or I would say, what is a misconception that most people carry is that entrepreneurs are somebody, not us. Do you know that all our forefathers were entrepreneurs at one point of time? Yes. Some of our forefathers could be farmers, some of them could be artisans, some of them could be, I would say, priests, some of them could be poets, some of them could be, I would say, butchers, right? Some of them could be into mining, some of them into goldsmith. Most of our forefathers were recognized by their profession, correct? Now, how they used to run the business? They used to exchange whatever they produce and then run the business, correct? That's anyways what we call as the barter system. So what does that mean? Is somebody paying them salaries? Is somebody telling them that go and do this particular job and after you complete the job, I will review it. At end of the month, I'm going to pay you salary? No. Then what's happening? All of them are behaving as entrepreneurs. Okay. Now, let me start with an interesting thing, right? Are you all able to see my screen? Can you see my screen?
Yes, sir. Raju sir, we are able to see the screen.
Okay. So not through all of it, if not through all of it, let me talk about one particular thing, right? This is what we are talking about. We were all entrepreneurs at one point of time. And what does an entrepreneur mean? An entrepreneur means undertaker or an owner. So because of the industrial revolution that so happened and all other things, the employment and then the productivity and efficiency and all of those things have come into picture. But otherwise, we were all entrepreneurs at once. Now, what is the role of an entrepreneur in building a nation? Okay, this is very interesting. If you look at the Indian population, we are 130 crore population, out of which 46% are female and 54% are male. Now, if you look between 15 to 64 years of age, we are 64%. That means roughly 90 crores. Roughly 80 crores, right? Now, if that were the case, are all the 80 crores people able to work? Not exactly. Only as per the organized sector, out of these 80 crores, only 30 crores are able to work. That is organized sector. 94% of population, that is around 45 crores, are still not able to work. You're able to understand, right? And when you talk about this organized sector, these organized sectors are nothing but the government and state-owned enterprises, and as well as private tech sectors, which are well established. But where is the rest of the employment coming from? The rest of the employment is coming from startups. Let me talk about this a little deeper. Now, if you look at the employment trends since 1970 to 2020, almost 50 years, you see the blue tick is an agricultural sector. The employment in the agricultural sector is coming down drastically, while the employment in industry and services is increasing. Now, what does that mean? It means that the opportunities in agriculture are reducing. Majority of the population is migrating to industry and service sector, which means there will be need of more jobs that are to be created in the service and industry sector. And who will create such jobs? Not the government. It is the entrepreneurs like you and me who will create such jobs. Let me continue. Just to tell you, last year, out of 40,000 plus entrepreneurs, around 40 entrepreneurs were unicorns. What's the meaning of unicorn quickly? The meaning of unicorn is any company that is valued to $1 billion or a 7,500 crores of total valuation. Now, it's an increase from 8 in the year 2020. And in 22, even before we closed our May and June numbers, we are already 100 plus unicorns. And they're only bound to increase. It is an era of unicorns and it is an era of startups. And this is what it is we are talking about, right? Now, 41,000 plus startups, they contributed to 4.7 lakh jobs and 40 plus unicorns and etc. etc. Now, if you want to know what are those startups, some of them, here are these. Flipkart is a startup, Paytm is a startup, Big Basket is a startup, Snapdeal is a startup, Ola is a startup, Rivigo, Grofers, Room, Oyo, Quicker, Simply and Byju's, Zomato, Swiggy, all of them are startups and all of them are unicorns. That means more than $1 billion valued companies. Now, why are we talking about all of this? We are talking about all of this because entrepreneurs have a definite role to be playing in the economic development of the country. Some of you said, right, that you want to make a lot of money. Yes, entrepreneurs are the ones who would create a lot of wealth, distribute wealth. You are the ones who would create large scale employment opportunities. A lot of capital investments and formations will be made by you. The concentration of power. Earlier, Tata's, Birlas, that's it. But now you have multiple people with good economic as well as political powers dissipated. There's a balanced regional development, not only Delhi, not only Mumbai, not only Hyderabad, but every other city which has got the entrepreneurial people are thriving. You are responsible, entrepreneurs are responsible for increasing the per capita income, improving the standard of living of the people, promote the country's exports, and they facilitate the overall development of the country. But for somebody to really get these benefits, what are those benefits? You create your own opportunity, you create your own identity, you create your own destiny, you are your own boss. This gives you an opportunity to make a difference. It will give you an opportunity to reach your full potential. And of course, give you a wonderful responsibility and recognition. And you can engage in the work that you love to do. Well, if entrepreneurship is all about this, then what is the mindset that an entrepreneur needs to possess? The first mindset that the entrepreneur needs to possess is he should be able to learn. Now, tell me again, people, do you think entrepreneurship can be taught or it should come just like that? Quick answers, please. Do you think entrepreneurship can be taught or it can be learned just like that? It can be taught. I'm unable to see your chats, guys. I'm sorry. There is Microsoft Teams is always an alien thing for me. It's always irritating. I don't see your chat. I cannot. Vijay garu నాకు యాక్టివేట్ చేయండి chat. Okay. Yeah. Let's continue. An entrepreneurship can always be taught. Well, you might have questions. Really, is it possible? Okay, let me ask you a couple of questions. How many of you were taught these things? How many of you started running the moment you are born? How many of you started cycling the moment you got hold of a cycle? How many of you started swimming? How many of you started to code without anybody teaching? Forget about all of this. Our of course education system is generally taught and taken forward, right? So what does this all mean? This all means this: anything can be taught and anything can be learned. If anything can be taught and anything can be learned, why not entrepreneurship? Do you agree with me? If you agree with me, raise your hands. Yeah, entrepreneurship can be taught. So the first quality, the first mindset that you need to have as an entrepreneur is you should be willing to learn, know the unknown, be comfortable with the uncomfortable scenarios and situations and contexts. Now, why should you learn? Simple. Let me ask you a quick question. Now, between these two, who will win? How many of you are Iron Man fans and how many of you are Hulk fans? Yeah. Okay. It is a difficult question to answer because both of them are equally strong. Now, who will win between these two? Yeah, definitely Hulk, right? Why? Because Hulk is muscular, Hulk is stronger, he's more prepared for the battle. Now, why I made this particular statement is by learning entrepreneurship, you will be like Hulk. You will understand what is an entrepreneurial journey. You will understand what is a startup journey. You will understand the ups and downs in it, and you will completely be able to love and run it. So basically, learning entrepreneurship, because you develop the traits of learning continuously, it will help you avoid the mistakes or pitfalls and succeed faster. Now, let me continue with little more things. Okay. What is entrepreneurship? Everybody has a doubt, right? What is entrepreneurship? Entrepreneurship is nothing but the act of setting up a business or a businesses, taking financial risks in the hope of profit. Now, what do we mean by financial risks? Well, these are how financial risks means that even if you were to lose, that is all right because you are willing to gain the profits of it. So it is the activity or act of setting up a business or businesses taking financial risks in the hope of profit. Now, if that were the case, then you might say, okay, I will start a kirana store. I will start that particular business. I will start this particular business. Are they also entrepreneurs and are the success rate high is a general question you might be getting. Let me ask you one question. If you start a kirana store, if you start any other business, what is the difference between you and rest of the people in the world? Absolutely, there is not much difference. So while the mindset of an entrepreneur for the first one should be to be a learner always, the second mindset that an entrepreneur should always possess is you need to have an innovative mindset. What is innovation? Innovation is simple. Innovation is a new idea or a creative thought or a new imagination, either in the form of a device or a method, which provides better solutions and that meet new requirements. That requirements could be articulated ones or unarticulated ones, doesn't really matter. So that's what is called as innovation. Now, let me ask you a quick question, guys. Do you see these products that you see on the screen? Can you quickly type them if you recognize what those products are? Quickly type them. Yeah. Okay. Correct. One is camera. Other one is mic. Yes. And other one is Walkman. Then you have Nokia phones. Then you have Xerox, etc. Now, what happened to all these companies? Are they existing right now? No, none of them exist right now. And are these companies are smaller brands or bigger brands? Of course, these are much, much bigger brands. Then why do they not exist? Because all these companies failed in changing themselves along with the time. So what does it mean? It means innovation is not a choice, but a mandate for entrepreneurs. If companies of this size could collapse, don't you think we are too small to fall? Of course, we will fall. So one thing is you need to have a mindset.
Sir, Raju sir, your mic is, sir, sir, Raju sir, your mic is disabled, sir. It's in mute. Kindly unmute, sir.
Okay.
Yeah,
Somebody
sir.
in the meeting muted me. That's what I got a message. Can
Yeah,
you
yeah.
please enable my chat, sir?
Sir?
The chat window కనబడట్లేదు
Sir,
నాకు.
yeah.
It is
Okay.
chat window.
Please carry on, sir. Please carry on. Meanwhile, we'll.
ఏం పర్వాలేదు అయింది ఇందాక పనిచేయాలి. Yes.
ఒక 2 minutes అట్లా ఉంటుంది.
Okay. Can we continue?
Yes, sir. Please continue. Sir.
Okay. Now, can you mute everybody, please? Or make me an admin. I will handle all of this.
Okay, okay.
Okay. So
Sir.
while this is all one side of the story, we looked at the attitude of learning and then the attitude of innovation. Let me talk about one important thing. How many of you heard this particular statements from your friends or from your parents or from your elders? That this fellow is a lucky chap. Whatsoever he or she touches, that turns into gold. You touch it and then it turns into gold. Whereas that particular person is an iron leg. Whatever they touch, it just gets batash. Have you heard this? Yeah. Raise your hands if you have heard this statement. Yeah. Now I'm going to reveal the secret. This particular statement, we are going to decode it scientifically. And then we are going to understand what that particular mindset is called as. And we are going to adopt that mindset for entrepreneurs, because when we are able to attach that particular mindset, okay, and that particular mindset is what we're going to learn at this point of time. And allow me to share my screen. Yeah. Allow me to share that particular thing. Okay. Do you get to see my screen? Let us decode, because in engineering, there is always something called as reverse engineering. Reverse engineering means you look at the end results of a particular product's performance, and then you try to decode of what is causing that particular product to perform the way it is performing. So now let us start from results. If you need fantastic and bumper results, results that are like gold, what you need to have? You need to have actions, right? You need to have actions to give you such kind of results. Your actions should be such a way that your results are fantastic. How do you get into that particular kind of an action? When the thoughts behind your actions, when the thoughts behind your actions are success oriented or growth oriented. How will your thoughts be success oriented? The thoughts will be success oriented because of your belief. Let me talk to you about an example. Suppose you are a person, you have an interview to face or you have an exam to prepare. Suppose in your belief system, you think that, "Arey yaar, I'll anyway fail. నేను ఎట్లానూ ఫెయిల్ అయిపోతాను. ఈ ఉద్యోగం నాకు ఎట్లానూ రాదు. ఎవరికో వేరేవాడికి వస్తుంది, నాకెందుకు వస్తుంది" అని అనుకున్నారు అనుకోండి. ఇఫ్ సపోజ్ దట్స్ ద బిలీఫ్ సిస్టమ్ దట్ యూ హ్యావ్. అది మీరు నమ్మితే మీ థాట్స్ ఎట్లా ఉంటాయి? అరే ఎప్పుడో ఉద్యోగం కదా, ఎప్పుడో ఎగ్జామ్ కదా, చూద్దాలే, అది వచ్చినప్పుడు చూద్దాలే, ఎలానూ ఫెయిల్ అయిపోయే ఉద్యోగమే కదా, రైట్? ఎనీవే దిస్ ఇస్ అన్ ఎగ్జామ్ దట్ హ్యావ్ టు ఫెయిల్. సో వాట్ ఈస్ బిగ్ డీల్? దట్ ఈస్ హౌ యువర్ థాట్ సిస్టమ్ వుడ్. If your thought system is like that, what will happen? You will not put enough efforts to prepare. You will not put enough efforts to prepare for the interview. You will not put enough efforts to prepare for the examinations. What you will do? You will just go appear for the exam. And what will be the results? The results are failures. Now, this is important, guys. Now, when this happens once, what happens? Your results, if that happens once, twice, thrice, etc., your results will actually become experiences, and these experiences will influence your belief system. Now let us look at a positive example. If you approach that particular interview or an exam saying that, yes, I'm going to crack this exam or I'm going to crack this interview, if that's the positive and a definite belief system that you enter with, your thoughts also will revolve around how do you crack that exam or how do you crack that interview. Because your thoughts are revolving around this particular piece of how do you crack that exam or how do you crack the interview, you will also put in a lot of efforts in action in that particular direction. And when you put those efforts in that particular direction, you will definitely reap wonderful results. And when your results are positive, what happens? Those results become the experience and again, they influence your belief system. That's how people who are success oriented will always continue to be successful. People who are failure oriented, you always continue to be failure. This is basically, what is called as spiral. If your beliefs are rising, your thoughts will be rising, your actions will be rising, and your results also will be rising. This is called upward spiral. If you think that your results are going to be negative, your actions will be negative, your thoughts will be negative, your belief system negative, and because of which the next time you think negative about it, you will believe negative about the results, you will think negative about the results, your actions will not give results, and of course your results will be negative. So this is the next important thing, the growth mindset. So far, how many things that we have learned? We have learned, number one, an entrepreneur needs to have a mindset of learning, continuous learning. Number two, an entrepreneur needs to have an innovative mindset, a mindset to innovate. And then the third one, an entrepreneur needs to have a growth mindset. Now, some of you might ask, sir, what is this growth mindset? How do I equip this? Oh, you have told it very, very beautifully. But what is this growth mindset and how do you equip? Let me talk about this. Now, this is how the growth mindset is right? So growth mindset is when you are stuck up with some kind of problems. Now, this is the PhD work of Carol Dweck, who is a professor at Stanford. And this is what she said. When you come across challenges, when you come across hurdles, what do generally regular mindset people do? They give up. But what do growth mindset people do? They embrace those challenges. They think that, okay, these challenges will take me to the next level. When you are encountered with obstacles, what do the regular people do? They give it up easily. But then what do growth mindset people do? They will be persistent. Okay, now that I'm talking about persistence, let me talk to you about a small story. How many of you like stories? Raise your hands. How many of you like stories? Raise your hands. Okay, great. So let me share a small story. We will close in another 10 minutes time. Yeah. In a village, there was a man. Okay. And this man's job is always to go to the nearby hills and mountains, break those bigger boulders, convert them into small stones, and then sell those small stones to the builders and to the sculptures. That's his job. Now, he went, one day he went to the nearby mountain and he saw a huge boulder. The boulder is so big. And when that boulder is so big, he decided, okay, let me attempt and then break this boulder. So he took his strong hammer and started hitting that particular boulder. When he was hitting that particular boulder, you know what's happened? When he was hitting that particular boulder, he gave some 60, 70 hits, but then the boulder did not move an inch. He was frustrated, he was angry, he was tired, he was exhausted, and he decided to give up. Now, when he decided to give up, he kind of left and went. But midway, his 3 months old baby, who is still dependent on milk, came into his thoughts. Similarly, the other things also is right. All the other responsibilities at home, he got into remembrance. So he again took the hammer, went back to that boulder, and started hitting that particular boulder. And while he was doing it, his hands were red, his hands were bruised. There is a lot of blood. The skin peeled off. The axe wood is chipping into his hands. His hands are almost becoming numb because of the strokes, but the boulder did not break. He reached 90 strokes, 91, 92, 93, 94, nothing happened. And again at 98, he said he cannot do it and he wanted to go. But somewhere, some voice deep inside said, why do you give up? Give it a try. And then he went back, hit the 99th, nothing happened, and hit the 100th stroke. The huge boulder that's in front of him broke into pieces. Now tell me, guys, did the boulder break because of the 100th hit or 99 plus 100th hit? Yeah, of course, it broke not because of the 100th hit, but 99 plus 1. Now that is what is called as not giving up. Maybe sometimes most of us, we were hitting 98, 99 strokes, but we are just giving up at that 100th stroke. Right? If that is you, then this message is for you. You need to be persistent. You need to be persistent in your efforts. If you were to be persistent in your efforts, that's what we mean by growth mindset. The next one is when it is about putting efforts, the growth set mind people think that efforts are a pathway towards mastery. And when confronted with criticism, growth mindset people build on the criticism. And when they look at the success of others, the growth mindset people will build upon the success of others. So what does this mean? Means this. When challenges come, we need to embrace. When obstacles come, we need to overcome. When it is time to put in efforts, we need to consider that as a pathway towards mastery. When we are criticized, we need to look at that as a means to improve. Looking at success of others, we need to be inspired. When we mix this particular mindset along with the framework of your growth, this is the fourth one that you need to have. The first one is attitude of learning, mindset of learning. The second one is a mindset of innovation. And then the third one is a mindset of 10x growth, that is belief system. And then the fourth one is the mindset of growth. So with this, we have completed the first set of the discussion today, which is what is the mindset that an entrepreneur needs to possess? The mindset that an entrepreneur needs to possess is definitely a growth mindset, right? And since it is already 11 and due to paucity of time, I will not be continuing to take the minimum
My
viable
name is
product.
Meghna, sir.
Yeah, go ahead, please. Do you have any questions? Do you have any questions? Okay. Okay. So with this, let me complete first portion of the talk, which is the mindset that an entrepreneur needs to possess. If time permits, sometimes next week or next time when we meet, we will learn more about how do we build a minimum viable product. Yeah. With this, I hand it over to Vijay Krishna Garu to take it up. It is exactly 11 a.m., 10 to 11, and that's where I'm again giving back the students to your hands. Thank you very much. Yeah, Vijay Krishna Garu, over to you.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much.
So what's next, Vijay Krishna Garu?
Yes, sir. 1 minute.
Hello,
Yes, please.
sir. Shall we conclude, sir, this session?
Yes. I've finished the session. Yeah.
Okay, sir. Sir, thank you, sir. Sir, on behalf of the organizing committee, I would like to express my deep and sincere appreciation to our resource person, Raju sir. In spite of his busy schedule, accepted our invitation. Thank you, sir. Thank you for sharing your knowledge as well as expertise in the field of entrepreneurship as well as innovations. Okay, we are really thankful for your this session, sir. Okay, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thanks a lot.
Okay, sir.
So
Now,
participants, if you have anyone you want to interact with the Raju sir, you can interact.
Yeah,
okay.
please go ahead.
I request participants, please interact if you have any queries. Participants, please respond.
You can just unmute your mics. You're having provision.
Yeah, you can unmute yourself and you can interact one by one. Yeah, somebody. Yeah, there is. Okay, please. 328 number. Okay, number 328. Okay. Would you like-
If there are no questions, we can conclude now. Thank you very much.
Okay, then I think nobody is having any queries. I think it is a good session. Thank you very much, Sir Raju sir, for your valuable time.
Thank you.
And we hope we are going to interact again with you for having a good training session with you all the guys, as you already discussed with me. We'll meet again, sir. Thank you.
Okay. Registered participants, we are also thankful for the registered participants and coordinators of this event, department coordinators. Again, we will have a session at 2 p.m. today. So kindly, please again come and support this event. Thank you very much. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Kindly exit the students.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Right.
Thank you.